Um, Nice to meet you. I'm Gigi. Shout out to my cabin, the Senate, and my small group, Apex. This is kind of a, I don't know, coming together moment because like my family moved to Georgia just a few months ago, but the first time I visited the Capitol was exactly a year ago when y'all had got back from retreat and you guys were giving your testimonies, and now here I am. So it's kind of full circle. Before I went to retreat, I was kind of broken and angry with God about a lot of things, and so I kind of purposely avoided him. And I grew up in a Christian family, so like I knew all the answers, but they were kind of bouncing off of me, and I didn't believe them because of my frustration. But the first night I got to the camp, Chad started talking, and he like cut me like a knife, like in a good way. The second night when we were doing praise and worship, I was really nervous because praise and worship was kind of daunting to me for some reason. And when they said they were going to have hour-long praise and worship, I was like, oh my God, no. But then I got there, and I was there like bumping until like 2:30, and I was just going. And I don't know. One of my small group leaders, Gregory, told me that I had to make the decision to let the lid off my cup, to let God in, because I was so frustrated that I wasn't taking the lid off. And Chad kind of reiterated that when he was preaching. He said, God is a gentleman. He's not going to like burst into your house. You have to invite him in. And so when I got there that first night, I was still frustrated, but I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a try. And I kind of cracked open my door, and God came in. And I don't know, I can't even explain it. The things that I was worried about, like when God's got it, they're so insignificant. Does that make sense, kind of? And then people started speaking to me, like in my small group. People in my small group, discussion group 4, everyone was so open. And my leaders, Justin and Shakira, there were so many moments when Justin would say something, and they were so hyper-specific that, like, I don't even think you know. Where was he? I don't even think you knew it, but you were speaking, like, right to me. And Shakira, thank you so much. Like, you really fought for me, and you told me that the words were bouncing off me, and they were. But over retreat, something changed and something shifted. I feel so much stronger. And then another moment. I mean, there's so many of them. But during that night of praise and worship Saturday, you, Caitlin, I was kind of jumping around, and you came over to me. I don't even know how the conversation started, but we just started talking, and you asked me what my story was and why I was there and what I was feeling. And, you know, you spoke to me, and for some reason, everyone had been telling me the same thing over and over again, but God sent you to tell me what you did, and something she told me that maybe someone else could use was that the things that I thought were happening to me were actually happening for me. And when she was standing there, she helped me kind of get that into my head. And that kind of changed the way I thought about some of the things that I was feeling. And then going back into the real world school, being really overwhelmed today because I don't know, I have to say, like, the leaders here are kind of, they know what's coming, and they'll tell you, you know, this is going to happen to you, and at first you don't want it, so you're like, but then it actually happens. Shakira told me, and her cousin, a few weeks ago, she said, be careful of the people in theater who are going to tell you, like, to do this and put that above God. That's dangerous. And I was like, that's not happening right now. That happened yesterday and today. And over the weekend, people were contacting me. And I came to school, and the fact that I'm even here is kind of a miracle because my director is, like, not happy with me right now, but whatever. And then Shakira being able to call you today while I was at school and having a moment, and you kind of guide me was really helpful. Yeah, retreat was just amazing, and I feel so much stronger. And I would encourage everyone to go back or go for the first time. It was amazing. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for everything you've done.